In today's video, I'm taking you through a pretty simple process of how to use 2x4s to build a window seat that can also be used for storage by creating drawers inside of that frame built out of 2x4s and then building those drawers out of plywood boxes. Creating this cozy nook in our master bedroom used for storage and relaxation that you could put in your home. So I started out with the 2x4s. I just made the cuts on my sliding miter saw here. I pre-measured exactly everything that I was going to need, so I was able to just sort of build everything together, measuring the width and the length on the wall that I was going to be building this window seat for. So once I had all of my wood pieces cut, my 2x4s cut, I started building the individual frames that are going to make up basically the walls that the drawer sliders are going to be attached to. So I am attaching all of these together using screws, wood screws, and pocket holes. So I have a pocket hole jig from Craig, and I am just drilling the holes and then screwing them together. It's a pretty simple process that creates these really strong bonds to connect wood to each other. So that middle piece that I inserted in there is where I'm going to attach the drawer slides to, so I need another column.
So I've got a little bit of a system going on here, so I just wanted to explain. My face frame is going to be 3/4 of an inch, so I have a spacer here that's 3/4 of an inch plus just 1/4 of an inch because I'm paranoid. And then I have the height of the drawers, which is going to be 8 inches here as a spacer for the second one. And I am just installing these before I install them on the wall because it's just going to be so much easier this way. So just using spacers, wanted to explain that really quick.
So for the sliders, you just pull the internal slider out, and then there are 3 very clear holes that you can drill into. There are actually additional holes if you want for support, but I usually just do the one closest to the face frame, the one closest to the back, and then the one in the middle, and it should be pretty secure. I'll leave the sliders that I use down below, but this is what it looked like when everything was installed. On the end, there are no sliders because that's going to be a storage box, which you will see in a little bit once I install these in this video. But this is the basis of how this thing is built and looks. So this is the wall that's going on, just as a reminder. So I just hauled everything upstairs, and I removed the baseboards also so that this could sit completely flush to the wall. I didn't remove them all the way because the window seat is just built shallow enough to sit in this nook. I didn't want it to interfere with the face frame for the closet door. So I cut most of the baseboard off on the sides and all of it off on the back. And then I let these pieces that are going to connect all of the supports with the drawer slides on them just lay in between, and those have pocket holes drilled into them on either side. And once I lay this out, I will just go in and screw everything into place. This is the most efficient way to build this for me, because trying to build this in one piece and then carry it upstairs would have been near impossible and very heavy. So just building it in place and cutting all the pieces, kind of like a Lego situation, is the best way to do it for me. And then you can kind of see too, I drilled in a support piece on the sides where it meets the wall, just a small little support piece in between the columns so that I can drill it to the studs. Then these are 2 scrap pieces that I cut to the height that I need the top supports that are horizontal to go. And this is just so you don't need an extra set of hands. As you can see here, I cut it wrong the first time, but I went back and cut it to the right height, these support pieces, and that horizontal piece just lays really nicely there, and I can screw all of these in perfectly at 90 degrees because I have those, which is just a great hack anytime you don't have an extra set of hands or you want something to just hold straight. Cut these like scrap pieces to the height that you need something and they'll hold it up for you. It's also a good hack when you're like installing shelves. You can use 2x4s at the height that you need the shelves as like a spacer to hold the piece horizontally where you need it. After I was finished screwing in all of those horizontal pieces, top and bottom, the structure was completely built and it was time to bring in 3/4 inch plywood to make the top of the bench. So I just cut them down to size, and when I do make the face frame, I consider the thickness of the plywood because that face frame is going to act as edge banding for me. And you can see the plywood is just bowing a little bit, but that really doesn't matter because I'm going to be using screws to attach it so it lays flat and gets rid of the bowing.
It's high. It's really high.
Next up, it was time for me to make the drawers. If you want an in-depth on how I do this, I have videos that I will leave linked down below of me explaining this process more in depth, like my living room build DIY. I will link that for you. And I can also link one of my favorite drawer building videos from a YouTuber that I learned from. So I'm just using my rip cut guide from Craig Rich's Genius. That's really all you need, and then you can get an articulating like sliding miter saw or just a regular miter saw, and I like to attach mine to my shop vac so it sucks up all of the crap, the sawdust. But I'm just measuring and marking all of the pieces I need for the width and the depth of the drawers, and then just cutting them all down after I use my rip cut guide to cut them to the height that they need to be. And now I am making dados in the boards. I basically just set it to about 1/4 inch high. The blade gets set to about 1/4 inch high, and then I run all of my pieces at the same place through the table saw 3 different passes, tapping it 1/8 inch right and then back left to basically create this groove that a 1/4 inch thick piece of plywood can slide into for the drawer bottoms. Again, if you want a more in detail tutorial on that, you should take a look at the links below, or my DIY built-ins living room series. And then the pocket holes are just going to be used to attach the drawer boxes together. So once I had all of my pieces pocket hole drilled and the grooves cut into the boards to accept that 1/4 inch piece of plywood, I just used some wood glue, spread it with my fingers on the joints. And then I assemble it all using the pocket hole screws. Now, I did not do a perfect job with these measurements. So every single drawer box has about 1/4 inch to 1/8 inch sort of apron on the back, which did not bother me because by the time I realized it, everything was already cut. It didn't bother me. So, because you're not going to see the back of the drawers. That is just the back of the drawers there. You can see there's like 1/4 inch lip. I will make the flush part the front of the drawers, and then that part with the 1/4 inch lip on the back of the drawer. And that basically happened because I got the insert measurements wrong, and I ran out of material. So that's just how I had to do it. But nobody's ever going to know. Now, when it came to installing the drawers, this was a nightmare. The reason it was a nightmare is because, like you saw in the beginning, I had to install this in place. So everything wasn't like perfectly square, I don't think. And I don't know if it's because my walls are wonky or what, but it's probably because I had to sort of build this in place. So because everything was not perfectly like spaced, the drawer slides kept failing. I did eventually get it, but it took a lot of trial and error, and I had to basically custom fit each horizontal piece to the drawer slides by just tightening or loosening the screws of the studs of the 2x4s to create like custom sized gaps for each drawer box. So some of the screws are tighter, some are looser to make each inset width custom.
The drawers are officially in. I couldn't film it because I was getting so frustrated. Honestly, my biceps are on fire right now. This was really, really hard. I've never installed this many drawers in a piece before. There are 8 in total, and it was just really hard getting everything to line up. I don't know, the frame was the problem, or I'm not really sure, but it was tough, but it's done. So now I am going to finally secure this to the studs now that everything is where it needs to be and the drawers are working properly. And I'm just going to drive it in to the studs that I marked with my stud finder with some 3-inch screws. And the next step will be to make the face frame for this, so that obviously the face is not these kind of rough, ugly looking studs. And the mechanism for the opening top, I got my piano hinge in the mail yesterday. I'm going to attach some leather pulls to it as well that I got off Amazon for like $8. I haven't even opened the package yet, but hopefully it looks good. And then I'll just be attaching the bench tops and drawer faces and paint. And then I have to make the seat cushion, which I don't really know what I'm doing. I bought fabric from this closeout sale from this company called the Tomlin House. And I am planning on using a sewing machine that I got off Facebook Marketplace for like no money. It was a brand new Singer sewing machine for like $20. Literally never been opened out of the box. She opened the box but like never took it out of the box, and it's really nice. It's the curve model, which goes for like $300 or $400, so I'm not really sure why she sold it for so little, but my gain. But I have to figure out how to use it. I haven't used a sewing machine in 100 years, but I would rather learn that skill and have it than like pay someone, because this is 144 inches. I don't know how much it will cost, but the foam is only going to cost $60 and I already have the fabric. So it's a green linen fabric. It's really beautiful. It's a dark green, darker than my walls, but in the same tone. So I think the monotone kind of layers will be really nice. But yeah, I'm gonna try and learn how to sew. So after this is built, I'll be doing that in a separate video. I think, honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing, so I don't know that like making a DIY sewing video is gonna be beneficial to you guys, because I will be figuring it out. I literally have no clue. So yeah, we'll see. But anyways, that's the update. I'm gonna keep working. Next up is attaching this to the studs and then making the face frames. Hi, thank you so much for tuning into today's video. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and be sure to follow me over on Instagram at storydesign_ with Corbin Reed. Next week, I am going to be taking you all through the framing of the window seat, the making of the cushion. I make a cushion cover on a sewing machine. I make the drawer faces, I paint everything, and just put all of the styling, finishing touches on everything. So do not miss that. Part 2 coming to you very soon. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.